Good afternoon, everyone. Today we shall be taking some JUPEB multiple choice questions from the subject biology in the year 2020. So sit back, get your writing material, and we shall be back shortly. All right. Question 1 says Anthony van Leeuwenhoek first observed microorganisms in the year 1670 and called them A. Microbes, B. Cells, and C. Bacteria. Then D. Anemococcus. The correct answer is Anemococcus. Anemococcus. Number 2. The name Enterobacteria denotes a bacteria. A. Class, B. Bacterial division, C. Bacteria order, and D. The family of bacteria. The correct answer is D. Bacteria can be grouped according to family called Enterobacteriaceae. Question 3. Choose the option below that is not correct about fungi group, meaning fungi can be grouped into the following except Deuteromycetes. They are fungal group that form asexual spores. B. Oomycetes. They are fungal group that form asexual spore. Then Basidiomyces. They are fungal group that form asexual spore. Then D. Zygomycetes. They are fungal group that form asexual spore. The correct answer is A. Deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes. Correct answer A. Question 4. The process of photosynthesis that takes place in the dash of the leaves. The process of photosynthesis takes place in the dash. What part of the leaf does photosynthesis take place? A. Stomata. B. Chloroplast. C. Mesophyll. Then D. Vascular bundle. The chlorophyll is the organ where photosynthesis takes place. So the correct answer is B. Chlorophyll. Question 5. All right. Question 5 says the byproduct of light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis is A. Water, H2O. B. CO2, carbon dioxide. C. Oxygen. Then D. ATP, meaning adenosine triphosphate. The correct answer is C. Oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis. Question 6 says the internal change that seed pass before they start germination is known as, when you plant a seed, it takes a while before this seed start germination. What actually happens is A. After ripening is called dormancy. C is called sprouting. And then D, fertilization. That internal change, that period of that change is called dormancy. The seed actually remain inactive for a period of time before they start sprouting or germinating. So the correct answer is B. Question 7. One of the following statements is correct about bryophytes and pteridophytes. Bryophytes are, the anchorage are rhizode, while pteridophytes are rooted. They have roots. Both of them have roots. B. Bryophytes are terrestrial, while pteridophytes are amphibious. C. Bryophytes have complex body structure, while pteridophytes have simple body structure. The last option, bryophytes and pteridophytes possess rhizome. No. The correct answer is A. The organ of anchorage are rhizome and root respectively, meaning for bryophytes, they are rhizome, while pteridophytes have roots in them. So the correct answer is A. Question 8. One of the importance of Moses is that A, that is the importance of Moses. A, they initiate soil erosion. You see, when we say importance, they don't add value to us by initiating erosion. Erosion, of course, is disadvantageous to the ecosystem. So B, they reduce soil quality. That's another disadvantage. Then C, they initiate soil formation. Then D, they serve as source of income. The correct answer is C. They initiate soil formation. They help to improve soil formation. Question 9. A cell that has thin cell wall, dense cytoplasm, small size vacuole, and capable of dividing is likely to be. So, of all these cells, which of them share these 4 characteristics? We said thin cell wall, dense cytoplasm, small size vacuole, and capable of dividing is likely to be what? A meristematic cell. B, secondary cell. C, lateral cell. And then D, differentiated cell. We call them meristematic cells. These are cells that are responsible for cell division and which eventually lead to growth. Question 10. The floral leaves of a typical flower are divided into 4 parts, where the sepal form, you see, you have 4 floral parts of the flower, floral part of a flower. We have what you call the calyx, which is the same thing as sepal. We have what you call the petal, which is the same thing as corolla. We have what you call the androecium, which is known as the stamen. Then we have what you call the gynosium, which is known as the pistil. So these are the 4 floral parts of a flower. Now the question says, the floral leaves of a typical flower are divided into 4 parts, where the sepal form, the sepal, of course, will form what we call A, corolla, B, calyx, C, androecium, and D, gymnasium. You can see the sepal form what we call the calyx. So the correct answer is B. B. Question 11. When the petal of a flower or flowering plant are separated from each other, such plant is referred to as A, gamocephalous, B, monocephalous, C, heterocephalous, then D, polycephalous, meaning we have several sepals joined together. Several joined together. So the correct answer is D, polycephalous flower or polycephalous plant. Question 12. The mass flow of sap through sieve element is described as an active process because we have 2 types of processes. We have what's called active processes, active or passive process. An active process is, or an active movement of molecule is a movement that is against the concentration gradient, or a process that is acting against the gravity, as the case may be. Why this one, passive process, is a process that is in line with what? The gravity, or in the same direction with the concentration gradient. So let's see the question here. It says, the mass flow of sap, of course, you know, cells sap flow from the stem of plants. Is that clear? The mass flow of sap through sieve element is described as an active process because sucrose, that is sugar, move out of phloem into area of cell multiplication? No. Phloem sap is capable of moving in the sieve element against the force of gravity. C. Sucrose loaded into a sieve element against the concentration gradient. Then the last one says water move along with the sucrose down the concentration gradient. The correct answer is B. Phloem sap is capable of moving in the sieve element against the concentration gradient. So when you are moving against the concentration gradient, it's actually an active movement. But when you are on the same path with the concentration gradient, it is passive. Question 13. The rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to dash. When we say diffusion, the diffusion of a gas is simply what? The movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. And this can be influenced by a number of factors. So let's look at the option. We said the size of diffusing molecules and concentration gradient. No, that is the size of this molecule is inversely proportional to the what? To the size and the concentration gradient. B, the size of diffusion molecules and surface area of the cell involved. B, the size of diffusion molecule and density of what? The diffusion molecule. Then the last option, the size of diffusion molecules and temperature in the cell involved. The correct answer is size and what? The what? Density. The size and density. So the correct answer is C. Question 14. Question 14 says, when the filament of a stamen are attached to the petals, the flower is referred to as, the stamen and the filament, they go together, which form the male reproductive organ of a flower. So when you have the filament being fused with the petal, what is that called? A, epipetalous. B, gammapetalous. Then C, polypetalous. D, monopetalous. The correct answer is A, epipetalous. When the filament of a stamen fuses with the petals, it is called epipetalous. Question 15. In seed vascular plants, when we say seed vascular plant, we mean these plants that are capable of carrying out what we call sexual reproduction, where we have male and female fused together. In seed vascular plant, the first fertilization occurs when, let me explain this, in plants, fertilization occurs actually in two stages. We have the male pollen food or pollen grain, which contain the pollen tube, has two nuclei, that is two cells in it. The first one is responsible, will mate with the ovum. The ovum is a male or is a female organ. So when it occurs, it forms what's called the seed. This one forms the seed. The second one fuses with the ovary, and this one forms the fruits. So you can see there are two types of fertilization that takes place, two stages of fertilization. The first one fuses, the first seed here, we have two nuclei, that is two sperm. If you guys, in the case of animal, one of the egg combine with this to form the seed. The second one combine with it to form the fruit. So the question now is, in seed vascular plant, the first fertilization occurs A, when two nuclei, is it when the two nuclei fuses together to form, the two nuclei cannot fuse together, they have to go one after the other. No. B, when one nuclei fuses with the ovum to form a diploid. C, when one nuclei fuses with the ovum to form a zygote. Then D, when two nuclei fuses together to form a diploid? The correct answer is B. When one nucleus fuses with the ovum to form a dichloros, as in the case of this. All right. Question 16 says, the body segmentation is pronounced in the following group of animals. You know, when we hear segmentation, it has to do with body of an organism divided into portions. So, for instance, we have arthropods. Arthropods are insects which have three body segments. We have the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. See? Body segments. We have the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, as in the case of insects. And they are called arthropoda. They are in the group called, the phylum called arthropoda. Then we have another called chordata. This is man, you know, human being. Then we have annelids, such as roundworms. Then we have the other one, cylindrites. Cylindrites are hydra. Hydra, example, hydra. So the best option is arthropod, which are insects. Their body can be divided into three major parts or segments called head, thorax, and abdomen. Question 17. Sarcodinae are very unique in the presence of A. Sarcodinae are very unique with the presence of A, ciliated body, meaning they have cilia. Cilia are short organs for movement in water. Long flagella. C, amorphous body structure. Then D, binucleated cytoplasm. The correct answer is amorphous body structure. Example of sarcodinae are amoeba. Amoeba. So they have amorphous body structure, soft body structures. Number 18. Which of the listed phyla is referred to as dead-end phyla? Dead-end phyla are always associated with A, Coelenterata. I said the example of coelenterate are hydra, annelid, which are roundworm, porifera, and arthropod. The correct answer is A, coelenterate or coelenterata. Question 19. Question 19 says, sexual maturity of animal parasite is attained in A. We say we have parasites or pathogens. They have what we call their host, primary and secondary host. So where does this primary host attain their sexual maturity? A, reservoir host. B, definitive host. C, primary host. And then D, intermediate host. There's nothing like this host. The correct answer is primary host. It's either primary or secondary host. But where they have their sexual maturity is primary host. Question 20. A mantle cavity are present in the class. Mantle cavity is a property associated with mollusk. And mollusk, example of mollusk is the snail or the shell organism in the plant. So A, oligochaete. A mantle and mantle cavity are present in the class. When we say mantle and mantle, these are characteristics of mollusk. And mollusk is, an example of mollusk is the snail. Snails are shell organisms that live in the aquatic environment. So the class where mantle and mantle cavity belong is oligochaete, B, bilvavia, C, polychaete, and E, herudinae. The correct answer is B, bilvavia. Bilvavia. Example of bilvavia is mollusk. Number 21. They believe that certain living organisms from vital forces present in non-living or decomposing matter is known as. They have this belief that living organisms stem from what? Non-living or decomposing matter. So what is that belief called? Initial generation. B, biogenesis. C, spontaneous generation. D, induced generation. The correct answer is spontaneous generation. C, spontaneous generation. Question 22. Use the diagram below to answer question 22. The diagram, of course, is called euglena. This is euglena in the diagram. It said the part label 2 is the part label 2. Let's see, okay? The part label 2 is A, the nucleus. No, this is where the nucleus is. Eye spots, basal granule, and then D, the contractile vacuole. The correct answer is here. Eye spot. This is where the eye is located. Eye spots. Eye spot. Question 23. Which of these cell structure can be seen only with an electron microscope? An electron microscope is a device or electronic instrument which can be used to magnify tiny objects that cannot easily be seen with your naked eye. So, we said A, cell surface membrane. We can easily see cell surface membrane with our naked eye. Chromosomes, nucleolus, then vacuole. The correct answer, the smallest of these organelles is what? The chromosome. So which will need the electron microscope to be able to observe. So the correct answer is B. Question 24. Which of the following are found in both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells? Eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Number 1, we have A, cellulose. 2, deoxyribose. 3, lipid. And 4, ribose. So both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells have in common cellulose, deoxyribose, and ribose. So the odd among them is lipid, which is 3. So let's see. A, 1, 2, and 3, which is no. B, 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2. So the correct answer is 1, 2, and 4, which is cellulose, deoxyribose, and ribose. Question 25. Which of the following listed organism is a multicellular organism? When we say multicellular, many cell organism. A, rhizopus, unicellular of course. B, euglena. C, paramecium. And D, chlorella. All the options A, B, C, D, except euglena, are unicellular organisms. So multicellular organism, example of multicellular organism is B, which is euglena. 26. Question 26 says birds and mammals have certain shared characteristics. Which of these is not a shared characteristic? Of course, birds and mammals, they have similar characteristics where they share together. Which of them is odd among them? Ossified endoskeleton. Ossified endoskeleton. There's nothing like ossified endoskeleton. B, breathing using lung. They both breathe using lung, yes. Viviparity, meaning they both lay egg. Birds lay, but mama don't lay egg. Then D, they are both warm-blooded animal, which is correct. They are called warm-blooded animal. or we call them homoithymic animals, meaning they have they are warm-blooded animals. They are warm-blooded. They have constant body temperature, so they are called warm-blooded animals. All right. Question 27 says, choose the option that is associated with an open vascular system. A, man. B, fish. C, prawn. And then D, snake. When we say open vascular system, meaning you can easily see their vascular tissues, that is their vessels on the outside. You know, as in man, we have internal vascular system, our bloodstream are located inward. Fish, the same thing. Then snake. But for prawn, they have what's called exoskeleton. This their organ for movement or fluid movement are located on the surface. So example is prawn with exoskeleton. The correct answer is C. Question 28. Choose the option that is associated with the measuring of the pulse beat. Pulse beat, that is the heartbeat. When your heart beats, you can easily measure it. How? You measure through A, the artery. The artery is a vessel that takes blood away from the heart. So you can easily feel the pulse through your artery. B, vein. The vein, on the other hand, takes the blood back to the heart. C, capillary. Capillary are the finest or the tiniest blood vessels that is intermediate between the arteries and the vein. Why the nerves? So the correct answer is the artery. A, artery enables us to feel the pulse of the heart, the heartbeats. Number 29. Study the options carefully and identify the organism that excretes uric acid as its main nitrogenous waste. You see, uric acid are associated with some organisms that act like a poison, when they are excreted. A, frog. B, birds. C, fishes. And then D, man. The correct answer is A. Only frog from this option excrete uric acid as a nitrogenous waste. Question 30 says, study the option A to D carefully. Identify the cells which secrete the male sex hormone, testosterone. Yes, the male sex hormone is called testosterone, while the female sex hormone is called estrogen. Now, which of these produces the male sex hormone? A, isthmus. B, cryptic cell. And then C, Leberkinin. D, Leydig cells. The correct answer is called Leydig cell. Leydig cells. Leydig cells. That is where the sex hormone, male sex hormone, is produced. 31. Which of the options below best describe an electron microscope in comparison with light microscope? Yeah, we have two types of microscope. The light microscope is a simple, it can be hand length, But the electron microscope is much more powerful than the light microscope. A, for a light microscope, we have higher magnification. We are trying to compare two properties, the magnification and resolution. When we say magnification has to do with size, making the size larger. Then resolution, making it clearer, A, they have higher magnification and higher resolution. For B, they have higher, we are comparing the electron microscope and the hand lens. Higher magnification but lower resolution. C, they have lower resolution, magnification, then higher resolution. And D, lower magnification, lower resolution. The correct answer is A. For electron microscope, it has higher magnification and higher resolution over light microscope. Question 32. Question 32 says, study the table below and choose the option which does not tally. That is, what are the options that does not, cohere? They don't tally, they don't work together. The option A, B, C, D, we have animals and their excretory system. We say for animal, Hydra, like I said, an example of coelenterates, undergo diffusion as a way of removing its waste material. Planarian, these are worms. They remove their waste material through flame cells. Then let's look at the C, earthworm. The structure for removing their waste product is nephridia. But of course, cockroach remove their waste material through what we call breathing tube and not spiracle. Spiracles are means of exchanging gaseous exchange. So the correct answer is D, which is the one odd among them. So the correct answer here is D, spiracle for cockroach. Question 33. Which of these is the intermediate host of fasciola? Which of these is the intermediate host for fasciola? Lamia trunnicana. B, Pila pubosa. Then C, Lamedius marginalis. And then D, Acatina acalevia. The correct answer, forget about this name. The correct answer is A, Lamia trunnicana. A. Question 34. Question 34 says, which of the following is contrary to the rules of nomenclature? When we say nomenclature, that is naming of what? IUPAC nomenclature. It can be naming of organism or binomial nomenclature. Binomial means giving two organism name. For instance, you and I have two names. Either you have Sunday and this or that. Organisms have two names. Sometimes we call them botanical name and their species name, or their English name, or their Latin name. So, which of the following is contrary to naming of organism? A, biological names can be written in any language. That is wrong. You can't write your organism name in any language because not everybody in the world understands your language. The first word is a biological name representing the generic name, and the second is a specific name, which is correct. Then C, the names are written in Latin and italicized, which is correct also. Then D, when writing by hand, the specific name are to be what? Underlined. The three above are very, very correct, except the first, which is A. You can't write your name in any language, And we say we have what's called the generic name, generic, and the species name. Species name. So the first one, for instance, when we can have organism like maize. Maize has a name, maize. Maize has two names. We call it Z maize. Z maize. So this is the what? Generic name. Why this is the what? The species name. We have man. Man has another name, Homo sapiens. Homo. Then this is sapien. This is the generic name. This is the species name. So they are always, if you are writing it in small letter, you always underline. Are you getting me? Or you italicize. That is, you bend it, you stroke it in such a way. So of all these options, the only one odd here is A. You can't write them in any language. All right, thank you for today's class. Please, if you have any question on today's subject, please do well to go to the comment section and drop your comment. Then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we can get you updated on our new videos.